Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Ann Pinkston, and this is The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston, and that's exactly what we are doing, trying to find science-based solutions for you, more integrative-based solutions for you. And, of course, every month I highlight one of my favorite people, which is Ray Solano up in Cedar Park, Texas, close to Austin there. Also, fantastic compounding pharmacy that delivers nationwide access. And it's something we have talked about before, but I think we should highlight more often is the product RG3 or Synapsin and its new version, which we're going to open up here in a minute, Ginsenosides, and how this helps brain health. And there's a lot packed in what I just said there, Ray. So we've got a lot, right? We've got a lot.
We only have an hour, right?
So welcome in. I am, as always, glad to have you. Thank you for all you do. And how's everything going?
We're doing well. You know, it's over 100 degrees again for another week here in Austin. So if you're getting any packages from us, it's going to have an enormous amount of ice packs in it. And we're putting everything, it seems like if you in an ice cooler, styrofoam cooler, break out the coolers. Here we go.
Absolutely. You and Igloo need to have a coalition there. So
that's right.
It has been terrible this year, but hopefully things are getting ready to cool down. Football season will start, so that's where I am. Football season, always long. Well, good. Well, let's talk a little bit about this RG3 and then open up kind of the discussion on some new science there with RB1 and explain.
Well, the RG3 is a unique neuro-regenerative fraction of the Panax-Meyer ginseng plant. Yes. That Dr. Jim Laval had pioneered and brought to the marketplace. I think it's probably over 15 years ago.
Wow.
And it realizes how it has neuro-regenerative properties working on the microglial activation in the brain that, it's this over-response the brain has to try to fix itself. So there's a significant amount of literature published on ginsenoside R3 that's been used. And actually during COVID, the Chinese government had limited its export because of how it was anticipated it could be helpful in reversing some of the long COVID tendencies for brain fog.
Right.
So, but it is demonstrated in close to, I guess, 100,000 patients have used it on the nasal spray.
Right.
Over these years. It's safe, it's effective, it's got a lot of uses outside of just cognitive, or even for traumatic brain injuries. That's what we originally looked at. Then we sandwiched it with nicotinamide riboside, which is a unique B3 vitamin derivative, and it increases this the longevity craze NAD and mitochondria. Anything that increases those spark plugs of the mitochondria to build energy is nothing short of nirvana. But so we put all that together in a nasal spray, and it's been an amazing product for our patients, and it's available in a chewable form on the Metabolic Elite label for chewable LPT tablets. And one of the things that we, because of the products are so expensive, but we realize that we really need to expand, that there's so many awareness now of dementia and Alzheimer's that is coming, and we're going to be able to screen it much better with blood tests that have indications or direct correlations to this condition. And big pharmaceutical companies pushing a number of pharmaceuticals, and I guess by the next generation after Aricept and some of these others, that just really getting work.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like everybody's been chasing this beta amyloid plaque reduction. Well, the way I look at it is if you've got too much of beta amyloid plaque, it's too late, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's try to figure out what the bullet was,
right? Exactly.
Before trying to fix the wound.
Yes.
So, what stops the beta amyloid plaque from actually forming? And we all know it's inflammatory cascade of so many different complex comorbidity symptoms that people have, and it's very simple to be able to try to eliminate those items as best you can. But one of the things that we looked at is there's a number of the ginsenosides that come from this unique plant that have some similar properties. And when you put them together, they also have this tremendous synergistic effect. And one of the ones that we looked at was this ginsenoside RB1. And RB1 is I guess you would almost like a close cousin to the RG3, but they also, the combination of the two, according to the literature, has a profound effect on the reduction of beta amyloid plaque.
Wow.
And is also neuro-regenerative. So it's synergistic. The 1 + 1 = 3 of the two items together.
Right.
And we found that in the Synapsin Pro chewable LPT tablets that we have been able to, for the last year, be able to help patients with, it definitely makes a difference. However, from a pharmacy perspective, we were really looking at a more clinical levels. How do we get higher levels for these patients that are maybe a little bit further along than others?
Yeah. Or
looking for some quicker results. So we're doing some our research. We're always, PD Labs is a research-centered pharmacy, and we pride ourselves in new things coming out, and that's what we try to do. So we're looking at being able to put these together in a nasal spray. Yes. And we're not sure if it'll work, but this is something that on paper sounds really good. So I think it's important to continue talking with you and this broadcast and on our website, so we can. We think we may have something that, in theory, is going to be transformational.
Absolutely transformational, and definitely science-based. When you mentioned earlier,
right.
100,000 patients.
Yeah, we have. The amount of people that have taken the RG3 over the years is it's quite outstanding.
Absolutely.
And the amount of side effects that we've had are very minimal. I mean, you and I both know you can have a clinical side effect to nasal saline.
Right. Anything.
But it's extremely minimal. It's very safe that we have found. And, then we also, give you a little bit of history here. We added some years ago Alpha-GPC, which is alpha glycerol phosphorylated choline. Say that fast 5 times. Okay? Yeah. How about just APC? So we added APC, which is a choline donor. Okay, so when you add choline, right, that's the building block to acetylcholine, and acetylcholine is also a source of energy for the cells. So when you add choline to this with RG3, we get people that they get the feeling like the brain wakes up, they're alert.
Yep.
So we know that is something that we have been very successful bolting on other ingredients, hopefully when it goes into solution. So this RB1 is something that we're looking at. So that would also add something as give people hope. There's so many people that we're finding now that are getting so much cognitive decline for whatever reason.
Right.
And I think it just needs to be addressed. Yes. And so that's what we're really excited about.
Absolutely. And dementia is something that has so many different root causes and many that we haven't found even.
Right.
And so heavy metals, history of pesticides, I think for the most part, history of bad eating, insulin resistance.
That's right. Ultra processed foods, extreme amounts of dietary sugars.
Yep.
It's a perfect storm that has occurred. Right. So the good thing is that people are losing weight. So that's one risk factor that's coming off. But sometimes when you pull back the curtain and the tide goes out, there's a lot of toxins that are left rolling up on the shore, right?
Absolutely, and left behind. So getting at this from a root cause is wonderful, and that can be difficult sometimes. But our population is now the boomers. The boomers are aging, and
that's right.
We are going to see an inundation. It seems like there's so many in the news with celebrities and recognizable faces out there that are starting to develop, and it's quite scary. I think this is one of the things that is number one or two or three on the list of things that frighten my patients the most, and that is cognitive decline. And so what I love about this, and you said this before we got going, especially in the RB1, is that it has anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties, plus assists with glucose metabolism. So we're not just talking.
Tolerance, that's right.
Thank you. And so we're not just talking, dementia here. We're talking about some underlying heart disease, maybe some autoimmune illnesses. I mean, how wide does this net spread?
Well, that's the reason why it is a perfect project for research and development for being able to work with you and your patients. We do our I call them pseudo clinical trials, with your patients in through the clinic, the Laval Performance Health Center. We focus on longevity medicine, right? Yeah. And Jim Laval has written a book on the prevention and how to reverse the aging process. So we have a unique clinical setting that will be able to recommend some of these items that are, traditionally non-prescription items, that are non-traditional pharmaceutical drugs, are natural substances. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. These are natural substances, are naturally occurring. So we're not synthesizing new products. And in the era of peptide hysteria,
yes,
we're not talking about new peptides either.
Oh, seriously, right? It's so funny. Everybody's just discovered all this, and
that's right.
Talking about it for 20 years.
Well, and so we've got a lot of data on these molecules and the safety for this as a natural substance.
Yeah.
So we're just we're so happy and privileged to be able to come up with the clients that are, the patients that are willing to give us some good data.
Absolutely. And so let's highlight for a moment too, because many patients, when I mention RG3 and talk about, the ginseng plant, Panax ginseng plant, I think a lot of people think they can just kind of go out and buy an over-the-counter vitamin that has ginseng in it, right? But why is that not the same thing?
Well, that's a good point. The ginseng plant has I was told that it's close to 60 of these fractions, so they call them ginsenosides. And each one of them has different characteristics. And the ginseng plant, and there's red ginseng, and there's so many different species, but they're usually attributed with stimulants. Yeah. And RG1, not RB1, but RG1 is a stimulatory that's the most active molecule in the plant. Well, that's stripped away. Right. And this is isolated. The RG3 is isolated, and it's fermented to be able to concentrate it. And it takes days. And a lot of people realize it's $40,000 a kilo. So It's not your grocery store ginseng.
It is not. So please.
So it's a very difficult fermentation process of isolating and these molecules, and RB1 and RG3, and there's a couple of pharmaceutical companies that specialize in this. And this, it's important to get a pharmaceutical company in Asia that has the standards as any other company. Absolutely. So this is the reason why this is entirely different. And it's important to work with a pharmacy that understands all the intricacies of making this compound.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you don't ruin it before it gets into a tablet or a spray or whatever it is, injection.
That's
whatever.
Right. That's exactly right. So
spend your money on water, right?
That's right. So yeah, it's not your grocery store ginseng.
No, it is not. And we hammer that over and over and over again about supplements, and it's still an issue. I think one of these days people will finally understand quality, is a factor. And all of
quality, and also the important thing is verification of what you're going to get. That's it.
Yeah. Third-party testing, all those things.
Third-party tested, make sure there's no heavy metals, and make sure there's no other contaminants, because we all know that all these natural substances, guess what? There's some naturally occurring. There's lead in the waters that these plants are derived from. There's also, unfortunately, there's arsenic from some of the pesticides in some of this. So it's really important that all natural substances really be screened for these toxic heavy metals or toxic substances. And then on top of it, unfortunately, there's some people out there that put drugs in these natural substances for therapeutic effects. And this is where the government gets very, very upset, but misbranding of items and the things that are not genuine. So it's really important to know the source, know where you're getting it, know the people, and inspect the items. And unfortunately, what I've heard that Amazon is cracking down to be listed there. There is a tremendous audit of the manufacturer now that's going into effect. You will almost be a CGMP manufacturing facility.
Wow.
And they come out with inspectors to be that certification. So I think they've realized that they have to change, or else somebody's going to make them change for them.
Absolutely. And plenty of bad outcomes will do that. And that would be so unfortunate. And well, thank goodness for that. And I understood that wasn't a recent company that I think holds a fairly elite status in the integrative world, Thorne, was recently purchased by a big pharma company. I don't remember, or a big food company. I think maybe Nestle or something like that.
Actually, it was Procter & Gamble.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Procter & Gamble purchased the company Thorne from its private equity company for a tune of $3.8 billion. They see the wellness, personalized medicine wellness market is expanding. We all are straight, kind of shaking our heads, going, "Okay,
here we go.
This is great," but unfortunately, we're trying to figure. Some people are having some trouble just affording all this.
Yes.
So we're interested in where this next chapter is going to be, but it is not a industry that is going to be diluted and go away. We have huge international conglomerates investing in this space, and it's been going on for probably 8 to 10 years. But this is a huge feat, because Procter & Gamble is is an entity that can transform the market. So we'll see.
We will, won't we? I just saw that. And thought, okay, another one goes down. So, and it may be, Procter & Gamble may do something wonderful with it. Let's hope
they come up with something different. And I think that we will see, because it takes a tremendous amount of effort to bring a product to market. It's very expensive. And so anyway, this is exciting.
Well, this is a good trend. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? There is
no.
There. Apologize. And well, this brings up then talking about expense and brand names and things like that. Something you brought up to me, which was quite eye-opening, about thyroid. Here we go again.
That's right. Here we go again. Can you believe that?
I cannot. But before, and I mean, this is some big news. So before we do that, I want you to let everybody know where we can find you. And then we're going to run your little commercial there, which I love watching. And then we'll be back. We'll talk about thyroid. But where can we find you?
Yeah, check out our website, pdlabsrx.com, pdlabsrx.com. And we're on all the social media sites. And if not, there's always a great way of connecting with us. 888-909-0110 is a toll-free number. That's 888-909-0110. And we have a team of 5 clinical pharmacists that are on site or remote that are, they're available to help.
Yes, they do. They know their stuff. You've got a great team over there and people that still answer the phone. And it's not an AI bot. So
it's not an AI bot.
And you can find all of our shows, Ray. We've been doing this for 4 years, once a month. And so you can find all of these shows and more on PD Labs, links at drpbetterlife.com. So take a look and go through and find those. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, we're all over the place. So let's take a short break and be right back. We'll talk about that thyroid. Here we go again.
Hi, this is pharmacist Ray Solano with an important tip to save you money on your prescriptions. Imagine affordable medication and programs that get rid of the root cause of chronic conditions, such as elevated blood sugar, blood pressure, and difficulty remembering your keys, or maybe even where your car is. PD Labs Pharmacy is a special compounding pharmacy providing service, solutions, and access to on-site trained telemedicine staff available to answer your questions. Today, many people have discovered personalized prescriptions tailored to you with powerful results such as feeling better. Check out our website, pdlabsrx.com. Our nationwide coverage and 26 years in pharmacy allows us to offer medications at almost half the price of local pharmacies. Switch your pharmacy to PD Labs and experience the real service without the expensive bill. Call us at 888-909-0110. That's 888-909-0110 or pdlabsrx.com. Remember, you have a choice in healthcare.
Welcome back. Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston here with Ray Solano talking about some wonderful, wonderful things that you guys have done, you and Jim Laval and a great team of people have done for us. But we have had off and on an issue about thyroid. Now, maybe we should back up and explain a little bit about why this is an issue that keeps coming up. Why do we still, why do we have to battle the government off and on so much about thyroid, and it's such a simple treatment, so easy, so safe, so wonderful. So why do we keep battling this?
Well, it's if you look at and you look under the covers, so to speak, of what's happening is when you have natural substances that compete with pharmaceuticals, then you always have this tug of war going on. There's always been concerns by the endocrinologist and traditional and physicians that thyroid glandular is not safe because it comes from an animal source, and you really can't determine the potencies and also the other items in that natural glandular product. But as history, it was the only drugs we had were glandular products in the turn of the century.
Right. And
some people are stabilized on glandular products, and some nutraceutical companies standard process.
Yeah.
That's all they had. Right. So it is one of the last holdouts that is in the pharmacy formulary as the therapeutic effects. Right. So the entire glandular, most of these glands are pig derived, and they have different potencies, but companies have standardized them.
Yes, they have.
However, there is competing products that are pharmaceutical derived. Armor Thyroid's been around for forever, but the FDA has forced them to standardize. It's like any other pharmaceutical. And now to be able to, it's almost a little bit of a shell game going on, is that it's been designed that because of its complexity and some of the ingredients in there, it is considered a biological drug. Well, when you have the word biological, and you're going to see this more and more, especially for retatrutide and other GLPs, that when a classification of a biological drug is it's a $500,000 license. I don't know. The amount of money, it's close to, I think it's $500 million license for a vaccine or a biological license. It's a whole different for biologicals. It's a huge. So when you put drugs in that category, it's just unavailable for others. And so unfortunately, you're seeing this push to making things biological, and it happens that this drug, the thyroid glandular or thyroid globulins, in that category. So they tried this about 4 or 5 years ago, and Congress got involved and was able to put a hold on it. Didn't squash it, but put a hold on it. So then it came up again because there's another competing drug in the same category, and of Armor Thyroid in a different category. So it's going to be coming out with a very, very expensive price tag, but it is going to be unavailable for compounding pharmacy to personalize the medications to patients. And some people don't have thyroids, they're taken out, or they need a certain strength. And that's what pharmacies do. We personalize the amount of milligrams, right? And we have 50 different combinations. Well, that's not going to be available to close to 2 million people. And it's supposed to occur this month, August. So we will see if it does occur. So everybody is just waiting. Is it going to be available? Is it not going to be available? Is it going to be a state's issue that some states will say yes, some people will say no? I'm sorry, but I don't have any. We're looking at our phones all the time going, is there anything coming across? I mean, it's crazy. So patients and most of people in the 50 to 70-year-old range have been stabilizing this forever, and we get panic calls all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So we wish we had more information, but all I can say is check out our website, get on our email list, our newsletter, because we have thyroid glandular in stock, and we are having no trouble with our FDA-registered manufacturers supplying it. So we ship it to patients nationwide.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. And so, compounding pharmacies, I just want to step back and highlight what you said. Compounding pharmacies are able to personalize. So when you have, customize, another great word. So if you have a need, you're very young, very old, you have other medications you're taking. I mean, there's so many different situations where you would need to tweak and modify a dose for somebody so they're not, sensitive to something or at risk for, overdose or things like that, which is hard to do in the thyroid world anyway. But it is, something you can customize a formulation for each dose is unique to each person and their needs. Otherwise, something like Armor and NP Thyroid, and thank God for them. I'm glad they're out there, but because they still supply the T3, but they have to have just specific standard doses that might be too much. You might be somewhere in the middle. This dose is too little and the next dose is too much. You need something else where compounding pharmacies come in. And that's important.
That's really important. One of the things I've learned from our patients, because we always learn from our patients, is disulfiram for Lyme disease.
Yes.
Disulfiram, a drug Ann abused, you both know, It was used for alcohol dependency for years. Well, guess what? It's an amazing properties for people with Lyme disease because it has an affinity to kill the parasites.
Oh, my.
But the dosing is so difficult that we have to make it sometimes in a liquid or a capsules that people personalize themselves the dosing, how much they can tolerate each day. Right. And it's a lifesaver for patients.
Yes.
If we didn't have that available, then these people would not be able to function. So being able to get as many times old drugs, that have been around for forever. Ivermectin, been around forever. Low-dose naltrexone, the right dose. What is there? Probably 50 different dosing for low-dose naltrexone. To be able to put all those in different forms, and we even came up with a topical for pain that's just is making huge improvements in people's lives. So that's what we do.
Yes, love it. And do very, very well and provide nationally. So ask your physician. If you're listening to this in New York somewhere, ask your physician and they can look at PD Labs. And so where can we find you? Where can they tell their doctor they can find you?
Yeah, check out our website, pdlabsrx.com. It's listed in there. Electronic medical records, and we ship everything nationwide. And we'll be putting a little bit more ice packs and everything that goes out for the next couple of weeks. But we're praying for rain anytime now, so we'll see if we can cool things off. But right now, we're just giving water to the UPS drivers and FedEx drivers and say, please carry on.
Yes, absolutely, because it is. And mid-September is coming, so hang in there. But any other thoughts, anything we left out or anything else to say this morning?
I think that one of the things that we're discovering is, and I'll just announce it here on your show, is pulmonary hypertension. Mm-hmm. If there's anybody that's out there suffering from pulmonary hypertension and looking for ways to improve, there's a drug that is used in Europe. And it's also FDA has allowed compounding pharmacies to make it. Mm-hmm. It's a unique peptide, vasoactive intestinal peptide that's naturally occurring. It's a hormone that your VIP levels, that your body has to have proper levels for vasodilation.
Right.
So it's an indication, and it's in clinical trials and phase 3 trials for pulmonary hypertension, but it is available now for patients that may be interested in trying it, that may be suffering from pulmonary hypertension. So we use it for mold conditions that helps rebuild brain by stopping some of these memory instances for chronic people that are inflamed with allergens and mold toxicities, and chronic immune response syndrome is a condition that it's called that. This is a body overreacts to these contaminants when they see it, these exposures. So VIP nasal spray has been around for 15 years. We use it mainly for these conditions, but it's a potent vasodilator. And if you look at the literature, and that's what we do, we follow the literature, it has that indication, and the dosing would be has to be appropriate. But there's not a lot of solutions for pulmonary hypertension. We have a couple of patients that have called us and said, my God, this makes a huge difference in our life. So that's what we do, it off-label uses of drugs that can improve people's lives with literally no side effects when given in a proper dosing and timing.
And safely. Very safely. So highlight that, and that's wonderful. Ray, thank you. That is a great point. I appreciate it. We have talked about a wealth of solutions and love it. We always do, and I thank you for providing it. So one more time, where can patients find you?
Yeah, call us at 888-909-0110 or our website, pdlabsrx.com, and you'll find that we're, customized medications and personalized medications doesn't have to cost a fortune. We work with all patients, especially autism group that are having a hard time finding leucovorin, which is folinic acid supporter that we feel that has blood-brain barrier influence. So check it out for leucovorin as well.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you for that too. So fantastic. And everybody, you can go to drpbetterlife.com and find all of our previous shows monthly for the last 4 years. And I thank everybody for watching. We've had 1.2 million lifetime downloads, Ray. Amazing.
That's amazing, right? How we all started and where we are now.
I know. It's so wonderful.
Marianne, I guess you're going to be giving, when you go to these conferences, you're going to be standing in line, giving signatures, people lining up for all of your autographs.
Oh my gosh. We never imagined. This is just done straight from my heart to educate and have fun with. So it's been fun. And thank you for your support. And
well, you're welcome. Anytime.
Awesome. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week. And as always, take care of each other out there.
All right. Take care.